I'm going to get you to discuss that in a moment, but before I do, just a little bit of explanation. For those of you who've been involved with early years for a long time, in early years, reading 2 was a strategy identified for 3-4. My argument would be now that we would want to be doing this right across our whole school. But it was called Reading 2, and Think Aloud was part of an option for Reading 2. And also we had shared reading. In a moment I'm going to get you to discuss Reading 2, why you might do it and what might come out of it. But I want to clarify some terminology here because Think Aloud was always in early years. Now you will hear about it and read about it in some professional references as a separate strategy, and it can be used as a separate strategy, as we'll discuss. You will also see Read Aloud being used synonymously with Reading 2, meaning the same thing as it meant for those of you who think early years. You will see Read Aloud in some of the professional readings, meaning what we would call Reading 2. They mean the same thing. However, there's also Read Aloud that John Munro took us through last year, and we did touch upon this in our first session. Reading aloud, seeing the words, hearing the words, reading in a choral way or independently or reading to a partner. So we need to be careful because it's not exactly the same as this. And read aloud as in parents reading aloud and enjoying literacy and text with their children. So whether you want to call it Read Aloud and a Think Aloud, or whether you want to call it Reading 2 with a Think Aloud, have a chat at your tables. Why would we do that, and what would our teaching purpose be for Reading Aloud? Whether the teacher's doing the Reading 2 and the Think Aloud, or whether the students are joining in with the Reading 2. Have a discussion. What did you discuss, or what do you think are the main points? Reading 2. I've written here, the teacher reads, students follow along. There's also the option of the teacher and the students reading together. So we establish that there are those 2 options. Deb, did you want to say something?
Isn't it shared reading?
Well, in Reading 2, that can be an option as well. Yeah. Oh, actually, mate, you're right. I am confused. The teacher is reading. Yes, sorry, that is shared reading. Sorry, thank you. Okay. Why are we doing Reading 2, accompanied by Think Aloud, or maybe not? Why are we doing it? What's our purpose?
Modelling.
We're modelling, yep.
When you read 2, they're harder to...
All right, any other points that you made? Thanks, Deb, for picking me up on that. Teaching purpose usually has 1 or 2 ideas. It's not a million ideas at once. Your text selection is selected for, think about the length, but also the teaching purpose and what you're going to do with the Reading 2.
And the Reading 2 need to state your purpose too, so that's
Yeah.
today we are.
Yeah, state your teaching purpose, yeah. And it can be for any aspect of comprehension or any aspect of learning to read or reading to learn. Is that Helen prompting you over there? She's playing up today.
It always happens to be the teacher, though. Reading 2 can be another child reading.
2, yeah. But in which case, if we think...
And that's not shared, because shared is that going between. And
Yeah, shared is where they're both.
you both have,
They both see the text and you're either reading along or you're...
you can have a child read through.
Yeah, you need to be... There's some protocols around that because we need to be sure about what's the purpose of it and what's the student. Yeah, it is.
And what about reading for enjoyment?
Yes, and that's when we're saying there's a teaching purpose, that is still a teaching purpose, reading for enjoyment, and it links down to here, read aloud with parents and encouraging parents to share reading with their students for enjoyment and pleasure. Not to say there won't be any discussion around it. I wanted to clarify that because we're going to watch a DVD now, and just to be clear about and have some context for what we see the teacher do, and it relates to questioning, and it just finishes off our discussion that we've had about questioning today. Have a look at what she does, and it is not exactly what we will see in our schools, but it's instructive for us. The context of this classroom is they have a long, uninterrupted reading and writing block every day, unlike our situation where many schools have timetable issues where reading and writing are separated for a range of reasons. But we need to get over that and see what is instructive for us here and how we can relate it back to what we might do at schools, what our thinking might be around it, and how it might relate to some of the points that we have discussed this morning. Because we've looked at questioning before, students questioning, teachers questioning, questioning during, questioning after, and this brings it together in a way that could be helpful for you.